Whoa, it's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. So I got an email from someone named Chris asking me where do I get my information from to keep abreast of what's going on Spaceship Earth. And I don't really like to hype sources too much because they're all subjective to discernment, right? So my thing is, whatever it is, you got to have a wide spectrum of information you're viewing from. So you have to have your far out lefties, your far out righties, and you got to get the whole thing. And then you need to have a couple canary in the coal mines, right? Just consistent people that you can reference them off of everything else, and then everything else off of them. Now, when getting involved with like collecting information, you have to be aware of the cult of personality, right? You can't get so invested in gathering any information from any particular source that you forget that people are fallen. People are subject to the ways of this world, right? So with that said, is you have your canary in the coal mine. You need to have your left and your right, or your positive, negative. You need your polarizations, if you will, and then you got to cross-reference them against each other and look for common themes, oppositional themes. And what you'll find is that look, at this stage of the game, it's all manipulation, hustles, smoke and mirrors, right? But that's sort of the fun of it, and that's sort of like the danger of it at the same time, is because you have to look at yourself as you are the news collector. You're the data collector. That's why you've been given a mind. That's why God gave you discernment, because you're not supposed to be relying on other human beings that are fallible to guide you. That's between you and God. God gave you all the equipment to do that. So what you're supposed to do is be your own news collector, however that is. And one of the great templates to run it all by is nature, right? Is the actual leaves growing, the trees growing, the bees doing their thing, all of this stuff, right? Because the template that is Mother Nature is very valid for using as a discernment tool. So with that said, is if you're ideologically welded to like one polarization or another, you are going to fall victim to media manipulation, right? So, and you also have to understand that by default, you want information that's going to validate your preconceived story about how it's supposed to look. That's your own personal red flag, is knowing your own bias. You have to know your own bias so that when you hear it, you're like, okay, I'm self-replicating information here. I'm in my own data loop, right? So it for example, it's like the people that used to be anti-war and are now pro-war in Eastern Europe. How that happens is because you become cult of personality and ideologically circle jerked to one group of people, which would be, they would be to the drooling old guy in the White House right now. Like, oh, well, whatever that dude does is right because he opposes this other thing. That polarization right there, it just leads to war and conflict. So one of the things you have to do is understand your own default to bias. That's part of the discernment, right? So you look at the people that are like, for example, so those are the people on the welded to that puppet in chief. And then you look at the magatards, dude, who can't appreciate what Orange Man is as an actor in the script, right? They actually are dedicated to this dude's hustle, right? And there's literally red flags all through that dude's stuff to be like, I can't roll with that dude beyond him being just an actor in the drama called White House, right? That dude's just as shady as all of them if you want to look at him. So that rolls you back down, is to know that to again, discernment is the corporations have a vested interest in making money, not telling you the truth or keeping you safe. Their goal is to make money. So information is bought and paid for by these corporations, right? So they influence the news. So example, most mainstream media is paid for by big pharma. You're not going to get healthy, holistic news and information from that source, right? Well, then you go, okay, to the other sources. So then you go over to alternative sources, and they got to hustle, right? They're selling whatever they're selling too, because I'm trying to sell t-shirts. I'm trying to sell views. Like I'm trying to sell my art. We're all hustling something to keep the energy field moving forward. All you need to know is what that hustle is. And then when you listen, you can hear what they're hustling, because in order for the hustle to be well done, it has to be presented in a somewhat truthful package, right? You have to, because intuitively you know when you're getting manipulated. It's super obvious. So they have to get past your like reptilian brain, if you will, and give you a product that you will consume, right? And that product, then once the delivery system gets into you, it can have all of their hustles attached to it, but they got to get it into you first. So if it's all just lies and manipulation, you're not going to take their product, which is why mainstream media is dying. It's because most people are just like, I don't want to deal with the lies, which gets you into alternative media. But again, look under the covers a little bit and be like, all these people have an agenda to sling. And one of the great places is like Instagram, right? And Instagram's a valid source of information. That's where you get the immediate visceral, where you can actually watch psyops in real time. Where when you see like a piece of information get flooded, ask yourself why. One of the great information hustles was the train derailment in Palestine, Ohio. Dude, I watched that thing in real time. Because again, I'm absorbing information not to like react to it in real time, but to watch it move through the thing. So when the big psyop came with the, oh my God, they're toxifying everything, but I knew that it was that it already happened a week before. I didn't get caught up into that time frame. Sorry for spitting right there. So again, is the secret to like gathering information about the world around you is to be an observer from the 30,000 foot perspective, knowing that at the same time you're right there close up. So you got to gauge your visceral reaction to the 30,000 foot reaction. Because dude, I do it all the time. I'll look at something, it'll make me angry, fired up, this and that, and then I'll pull back the lens and I'll go, why am I feeling that way? And I'll go, okay, it's a legitimate thing or it's a non-legitimate thing, but the initial feeling's real, but what is that initial feeling about? And then I get to kind of observe my local grid. I know it's sort of a complex answer I'm giving here, but what I'm trying to say is it's not about the source. It's about the discernment of the source. And if you have the awareness to know that a certain amount of it is entertainment, and a certain amount of it is product, and a certain amount of it is truth. For example, if I want to find out news about this country I live in, I go to like foreign countries' news to like see what they're reporting about what's going on here. And then you go, okay, they have a vested interest in slanting their news one way or the other about what's going on in this country. So for example, you're not going to get news from any of them about what's going on in Palestine in the Middle East. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it from the alternative people. You're not going to get it from anyone unless you go dig over there, right? And then you find out what's going on over there on a daily basis. You're horrified, right? So what I'm getting at is, like, one of my all right. So if I was to give you like some basic sources, like, okay, my liberal left type, which is middle of the road left, I like the Gray Zone. I do like Aaron Mate and Max Blumenthal. I like some of what Jimmy Dore is about. I think he's pretty funny. I'm not a Tucker Carlson guy, but I appreciate Tucker Carlson. I've been watching that dude since he was a Democrat with the bow tie, right? So again, is take a dive back on these sources too. So my canary in the coal mine is kind of Tim Pool, Beanie Man. And that's only because I've been tuning into him for so long. I've watched him grow, and I kind of know where he's actually like legit. Like, I personally think he's super legit because I've watched him grow about the 2A issue, right? I watched him change his perspective over time. I think he's pretty legit about some of the stuff. Is he swayed by big pharma? I think so, a little bit underneath the hood. Is he being financed by some deep interest? Probably, most likely. Is that okay? Yeah, totally, dude. It's not. I don't get into the cult thing. It's like the gay frog, right? Like, half of why he was entertaining back in the day, because he was entertaining, he was a lunatic. Was a lot of what he had to say real? Absolutely, dude. Was he a psyop to destroy the truth movement? For sure. Because most people went down with the gay frog ship because they didn't realize they were involved in a cult of personality. Again, these people are all just people, and they all have a vested interest. And most of them, I will tell you, is to destroy waking up. And I will say it again, and this is the thing. All truths lead to one truth. God is real and God loves you. Whatever that is for you, that's for you to figure out. I have my own personal journey, my own personal relationship. But knowing that, I put all of the characters that I get, it's entertainment. Let's call this what it really is. It's the news is entertainment, man. I put that up against that one single truth. And that always kicks me back up to the 30,000 foot perspective, where I understand that it's all a joke. It's all going to be okay. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter what's going on in the Strait of Taiwan, dude. It doesn't matter what's going on in the wheat fields of Eastern Russia. I mean, unless you're standing there, of course. So, for example, like if you were to go over, I watched this, I found, again, is you can find it. All right, how do you find it? You gotta let it come to you, right? For example, like the Eastern wheat fields conflict. I found this dude, Patrick Lancaster. Is he an agent? I don't care. He gets some pretty gnarly, like, interviews down on the ground level, dude, that are, like, pretty wild. So I started checking that dude out pretty regularly. And then I got like some weird British dude who's on the Ukrainian side, who's driving around doing whatever, dude. And you get the total gung-ho, like the Patrick Lancaster's like, this is the disaster. The gung-ho British guy's like, this is rad, we're going to get, like, he's obnoxious. And then because you get in, this information starts to find you, again, you're discerning it. I watched this, like, this guy who does history, like he's a history guy, but he covers the conflict with maps and the thing and the troop movements and the whole thing. He's super interesting, dude. So you get a wide path. So on the conflict going on, as an anti-war dude, I watch information from all sides and the middle to see what's going on. And what's going on is just the typical people dying for pointless reasons. But whatever. So what I'm getting at is just stay true to yourself and don't fall victim to the cults of personality. And again, you don't need to have the same opinion as the people around you. Like, I think you don't need to fit in. If you're collecting information, one of the big key points to collecting information is you're sovereign. You don't need your information collection to fit in with other people's information collection. What you need to do is be willing to listen to the information they've collected, right? Part of the polarization is people don't want to exchange information because they're into the cult of, like, you have to believe what I believe. I don't want to exchange information with people that think the same way as I do, because it doesn't help my information grow and prosper, right? Because it's all about getting it to grow and prosper and get you a richer understanding of your experience down here in this reality, man. So again, I mean, I gave you I don't trust any of them, right? At the end of the day. But I know what's right and wrong. You're not going to get me to ever say that war's a good thing. Offensive war is a good thing. You're never going to get me to say that offensive violence is justified. You're not going to get me to hype civil war. You're not going to get me to destroy the environment for $1, dude. You're not going to get me to shill for Big Pharma. You're never going to get me to say what's going on in Palestine is okay. Because there are just certain basic wrongs. And again, these are laid out in scriptures. These are laid out in basic tenets of human existence. So when you find yourself getting ready to go against these basic commandments, if you will, or basic characters of human existence, ask yourself, why would you ever justify that? And then you would find underneath it is you've been manipulated. And it's okay to be manipulated. It's just what do you do with the manipulation? I think everyone's so busy trying to be like, I'm not being manipulated. We're all being manipulated, dude. We're all being manipulated. All right, I got to go into the feed store because I got a sick chicken, dude. And I got to get some Vet RX, dude. Some Vet RX, man. All right. Links down below. Get some t-shirts, dude. I'm hustling t-shirts and art. It's on my Instagram thing. Put some money in the till if you want. We're all hustling, dude. Like, that's where I got to be a little bit truthful with myself. Yeah, dude, we're all trying to, like, maneuver through the thing. It's just underneath it, your job is to discern the intent, the character of the person distributing the information, dude. You'll know if they're being backed by the CIA or big government or big pharma or whatever it is. It'll be super obvious, dude. But that doesn't mean that their information in there isn't unvaluable. Of course it's valuable. The lies are valuable too. I think that's where people make a giant mistake, is the lies are valuable. You just gotta, because once you know the lies, you can see through the hustle. Anyway, it's The Illusion signing off.